Hello everyone. How is everyone doing? Happy Monday. Feels like it, even though it's been just a week, it feels like so long every single week since I've seen you guys. I know we're streaming a little bit later than tonight, or than usual on Mondays. I could not sleep at all last night and had a huge headache, so I took a nap earlier. And now we are here, and we will be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is exploring symbolism within the dream while lucid. Now, we talk about doing this with our dream journal after we've already woken up, but there's ways where we can interact with the dream while lucid and ask questions to uncover symbolism that we can just write down in our dream journal when we wake up without having to go through the usual dream symbolism process that we usually have to go through as soon as we write our dreams down. So this will kind of help your process with writing your dreams down, because there won't be so much work to do if you're wanting to uncover deep symbolism. And there's layers to this as well. We're going to get into it. It's a huge topic in itself, but this will be all about exploring your dream universe, your dream world. Hello, Skip. How's it going? Guido's world. Good to see you again. Daryl, what is up? Just traveling across the US and tuned in and listening to you while I'm driving. Oh, well, that sounds awesome. Taking a nice road trip. What is it for? Keep us updated on what's going on, where you're traveling from, where's your home base at? Because I will actually be traveling a little bit in about 10 days for my birthday, going to Washington for a little bit. Of course, that's not across the US, but I do love a good road trip, so I'd love to hear a little bit about that. Daryl, hello, Jer, what is up? So before we get into the topic, I have been painting, and I'm sure if you guys follow me on my other socials, I think I only post it mostly to Instagram and Facebook, but I created some new mini paintings. Oh, you're from Vancouver, Washington. That's where I'm moving, is Vancouver. That's super cool. It has been my dream to move to Washington, and my goal is literally in Vancouver. It's super beautiful. Every time I visit Washington, I stay in Vancouver, and my birthday is on the 12th. And every year on my birthday, there is a meteor shower called the Perseid meteor shower, and I like to think that space is throwing me a little party every year. And you can't really see the stars too well over here in Utah where I'm at, just because of all the light pollution and all the other pollution in the air, so it's very kind of cloudy all the time. So I am hoping to see some cool stars and meteor showers out there when I go out there in like a week and a half-ish. And I hope to move out there within the next, my lease is up around May, so I'm hoping that I can find a place out there that I really like. Glad you're moving. I hope it's, thank you. I am so excited. I am so excited. Okay, so I'm gonna go get my paintings are just right here. But let me move out of the way. Okay. So I have a couple to show. Okay. Oh, my things go. Okay. So this one I really like a lot. I got tons of like 3x3 canvases and little easels to go with them. And this was one that I painted of Mount Fuji. I love the gold and the silver on the foliage. I think that's super cool. And they're just like little, I just love little mini paintings so much. I've been painting rocks. For those of you who haven't seen my first rock painting I did, it's just so fun because you go and get the rocks yourself. You can, or not, whatever you want to do, but I like to go out and just find rocks that want to be painted on. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I go out and certain rocks just call out to me, and when I look at it, I can already see exactly what's supposed to go on it. Some of them are shaped like animals, like frog, for example, or this or that, and so maybe I paint that rock as that animal. Like, whatever I see it as soon as I first pick it up is usually what I paint on it. And so sometimes I paint on rocks, sometimes I paint on pennies. Oh, I actually just painted my first penny. Okay. Let me see. Do you see it? It's a little flower field. Okay, I'm trying. 1 second. Sorry, I have paint all over my nails still. I was up all night painting, but I thought it was kind of cool. I've been getting into just painting as small of things as I can find, and it's been very enjoyable. Okay, the last two I painted. This one was the first painting I ever did of my dog with his favorite toy. He lives for this toy, and he had this toy when we got him when he was really, really little. It was like a baby chicken kind of version of this. And he carried it everywhere, and he lost it a few times, and we were able to find new ones and just buy it. But eventually the manufacturer stopped making his beloved chicken, the chicken that he's grown up with, that he's had his entire life. And we finally found a chicken that looked like that one, that was like the adult version. And it has to be it has to have a he loves this like rubber latex type texture for this chicken. It has to have a specific sound. Like, that's why it was so hard to find. But we finally found it not too long ago online, like this adult version. And so it was almost like Juno growing up being reunited with his best friend that is now also grown up. And he's been carrying it around everywhere. And so I thought I would paint it so we always have it to look back on. I love my dog more than anything, if you can tell. And this was the painting, which I am I have never painted portraits of people or animals before because it's very terrifying. Like, I only paint mostly landscapes and space and clouds and dream scenes type of thing. That's usually like my safe zone for painting. But I am like pretty proud of myself. It took all night to paint these 3 things. And I like could not move my neck up when I woke up because I was painting all night. But I think they're kind of cool. And it's been something that I've been really enjoying doing. And I've been painting like snail shells, everything. I just wanted to show you guys some of what I've been working on because part of the reason why we dream about a lot of the things we dream about is because it's kind of taking some content from our day, and that's a lot of what we dream about. And so I want to be activating my creativity as much as possible and creating little worlds that I can go to, because I don't know if you guys have ever imagined a world like your most ideal place or location, and then you actually dream about it after that. So not vice versa, where you see it first and then dream of it, but you actually it's all created from your imagination. That's how a lot of my dreams are, is they are really based on, however big I can imagine is how deep my dreams will go a lot of the time. So I just try to spend a lot of time immersing myself in worlds, colorful, vibrant worlds that I want to dream of. So that's a big inspiration for my paintings, is just my dreams, not only what I see in my dreams, but the places that I hope to see in my dreams as well. So I'd love to hear if there's a way that you guys express your creativity, whether it's through music, whether it's through writing. I have a lot of instruments that I want to learn how. I love to sing. I've probably sang before I could talk, but I can't. I don't want to say can't play instruments, because I feel like we can do anything if we truly dedicate to it. But I have not fully been able to learn the handful of instruments that I own. So that's my next thing, is to kind of branch out into that. Thank you. These are my blue light glasses. I wear them when it's hard to look at screens or my head is hurting. My head has been hurting all morning, and so I am drinking an energy drink. It's a sugar-free one, don't worry. But I still feel, yeah, it is, yeah, it's definitely helping my head a little bit. And it is definitely hyping me up a bit as well. Guido's World Poetry, I love that. I don't know if you guys, who's been here for how long, but like a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago, I did live stream poetry with my friend Jax, and we called it Galactic Poetry, and we would basically create intuitive poetry just live with each other. We'd go back and forth, and also the audience would also join in and help create certain lines, and it was like a collective consciousness poem of however we were all feeling at the time. And sometimes we would do meditations beforehand, or I used to pull a lot of like cards and stuff just for fun on certain calls, and that's what that reminds me of, because there's so, oh my god, poetry is incredible, not only to create, but I love reading people's poetry. So yeah, keep that in mind if there's anyone in here who likes to write poetry. Guido, I would love to hear some if you ever decide to post them in the chat. Maybe we can go live sometime and create some poetry together. That would be very fun. I've been thinking of starting a poetry and or short story writing circle here in Vancouver. That's so cool. You know what I love about Vancouver is there's so many like artsy, out of the box people out there, and I feel so, I don't know, I just feel so at home there, and I love going into all of the different shops. Like I've already have my favorite places to eat out there, like everything. I love Vancouver. And every time I go anywhere there's always people's art like in different shops or pizza places, and I'm just like surrounded by inspiration and color all the time, and the air is so fresh out there. It's super dry here because basically we live in the desert, and quite literally it's a breath of fresh air out there, but just to also be surrounded by so much art, you know. So I definitely feel like I'll be able to take my artistic ability to another level in Vancouver, being surrounded with people like that, because here I don't really hang out with any, like I'm totally in my own zone here mostly. And when I go to Vancouver I feel so social, like I want to, like there's something about it where I don't know, I just feel so good there. Clearly I feel like I'm supposed to be there next. But you definitely should do that, Guido's World. You should definitely do that. I would love that. That sounds so cool. Are you kidding me? Portland might be even better. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, even though Portland is a very... Tons of people travel all over the world to come to Portland. For me, mostly, it's about the food. I love the food in Portland, but it's not like a place you really want to like walk around and just hang around, in my opinion, and from my personal experience. What's cool is Portland is only 15 minutes away from Vancouver, and so, you know, you can hit some really cool spots out in Portland to go eat or something, and then you can just drive over the bridge and go, you know. I love Portland because, or Vancouver, because there's so many cool spots to hang out. All of the different parks, the piers, the waterfront restaurants and places. I don't know, there's so much to do. And it feels at the same time really suburban and like homey, you know. It's like you have a little bit of the city, you have the waterfront, and Vancouver's like maybe, I don't know, 1.5 to 2 hours away from the beach, and then you can also go hiking in the other direction. So it's kind of in the middle of everything, and I'm still like 15 to 20 minutes away from Portland. And Oregon has no sales tax, so if you're going to make some big purchases for your house on like appliances or something, and you live in Vancouver, you can just drive over the bridge and make your big purchases there, which is also another benefit of that. But I don't think I'd want to live in Portland. But it's definitely, it has my favorite pizza place, the Secret Pizza Society, shout out. That place is like so good. The pizza, the Chalupa Batman pizza is like bomb. I think it's an all-vegan pizza place too, and it's the Chalupa Batman pizza is like taco pizza. It's so bomb. We take that and then we go to Cannon Beach, and it's a vibe for sure. One of my favorite places in Vancouver is Brewed, that coffee shop. I love to get breakfast there. I love iced coffee, so that place is like really nice. Anyways, I'm getting so excited to go. I will be filming there. I'm gonna try to go live there. While I'm out there, I'm not sure what I'll be doing, but I at least want to create like shorts and stuff out there. Again, I'll be there from August 10th to like the 14th or whatever. And my birthday's on the 12th, so I don't know if I would go live that day. Maybe. I have no idea what we're gonna do, but I'm also bringing Juno again, which I'm very, very excited about. Yeah, I'm really, really, really pumped to be out there again. Oh my god. I hope you get here before I move back to Ireland. Oh, that's so crazy. That's one of the next places on my list to travel to. That's another synchronicity. That's funny. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, when are you planning to move back to Ireland? Do you have a set time? Or is it just kind of like whenever it lines up? Because I'd say around like May or something. I am wanting to be in Washington by then, I hope. I mean, I want to be out there as soon as possible. If I had an opportunity right this moment, I would pack up right now and go. And it's like a 12, 13-hour drive, but I would do it in a heartbeat. Like, I love it out there. Okay, I'm gonna have to put like little timestamps on this. People are gonna click on this for the title and be like, why in the hell am I listening to a... You know what? No, because Washington's awesome. That's why. That is why we had to talk about it first. And it also really relates, actually, to my dream world in particular, because I have been using my lucid dreams to manifest moving out to Washington. And as you guys know, when you become lucid, and there's a spectrum to control in your lucid dreams, and that comes down to how much awareness you have in your dreams. The more awareness you have in your lucid dreams, the more control or influence you are going to have over or in your dreams. So really, when people say, hey, how do I increase my control or my influence within my lucid dream? How come it's hard for me to kind of control what happens in the dream or where I go? It's down to how much awareness you have within your dream. If your dream is kind of groggy, if it's cloudy, if you feel like you're moving slowly, or you don't have enough control, or you keep forgetting that you're lucid, or you're dreaming, which happens all the time, it's down to how much awareness you have in the dream. And sometimes you are just at the end of your REM cycle and you will naturally see your dream kind of fade if you are lucid, but you can actually maintain awareness within that void state, and it will actually help you practice maintaining awareness all throughout sleep, even within deep sleep and stuff. And you can even stay conscious in dreamless states, which is super cool. But if you notice your dream ending, it doesn't mean that you're waking up. Just hold on for a little bit longer. Just maintain awareness without allowing yourself to fall asleep, and just see what happens, because sometimes you will notice the hypnagogic state will start up again, and then you'll either have, I don't know, I've had an out-of-body experience from that void state of just like waiting. And of course, like, liminal dreaming is a whole other type of dreaming experience, and that can happen in any state. From my experience, of course, it's created on the edges of sleep and awake, but there have been times where my dream has ended, and I swear I was like present in deep sleep, but I was still getting some weird visuals. Of course, they weren't as vivid. Things seemed kind of pretty dark, but I was definitely in some sort of experience that we don't get to experience that much. Deep sleep, it's called sleep yoga. Dream yoga is usually referred to in Tibetan Buddhism as conscious dream work, and maintaining awareness within your dreams and doing work within that state. Sleep yoga is usually referred to conscious awareness in deep sleep, so dreamless sleep, but there's still a whole set of things that you can experience in that state. So it's kind of hard to explain it, but it definitely just feels like a deeper state in all ways. Like, as far as what you see. Things are more dark, things move a little bit slower. If you experience any like auditory sounds, usually they're like deeper tones, so it really does feel like a deeper state, if you know what I mean, as far as your senses and stuff go. But when we're building up awareness within our lucid dreams, we can also change locations, completely change locations. And that's where Washington comes in for me, is because I mean, we've even reviewed this topic within like Neville Goddard's work, for example, reality transurfing. If you're wanting to manifest something within physical reality, then you experience it in consciousness first, and then the results show up in physical reality. So it's thinking from your desire, not of your desire. And that is one way that we merge with our physical reality, is as far as Neville Goddard says, and so many others. If you guys have read Think and Grow Rich, that's exactly what this is talking about as well. It's about thinking from your desire, as if you're already the person that is standing in that desire, looking back at your life. So this right now would be the past, if that makes sense. So my lucid dreams, it would be like I get to role play that I already live in Washington. I would be able to create the environment of Washington when I interact with my senses in the dream, as far as my sense of smell, what I hear. Everything is in alignment with Washington. And our brain cannot tell the difference between something that we are imagining, dreaming about, something that's actually happening. And so you really are living in Washington in that moment, in that time. And you can do this with everything. If you're wanting to increase your confidence, if you're wanting to attract a caring partner, a friend into your life, maybe it's a business opportunity, maybe you're wanting to grow your business, maybe you want to work on your physical health, whatever it is, you can look at what the aspects of that would be, like, okay, what little pieces would have to happen to show me that that's where I'm at in life now? And you can manifest those little pieces within the dream, and experience your desire in first person. And this is massively helpful in several different ways. Number one, it helps you get out of the feeling of like the gap between you and what you want. That's a big reason why we have so much resistance in creating the lives we want and becoming the person that we want, is because we make ourselves think that there's so far to go before we get there, and that can be extremely discouraging to our brain. Especially the brain loves rewards, right? And so we can see this like when we check something off of our to-do list, or when we turn in our homework at school, or when we release a YouTube video. We have this sense of accomplishment, and you can feel the rush of emotion and the chemicals of dopamine, and this deep feeling of achievement. And if we wait too long in between that, when there's something that we're going for, that's when we can experience burnout. That's when we start to not really care about whatever the activity is, and maybe it's dream work, right? But if we make something appear to be so tedious and such a chore and so exhausting, our brain's going to start to disassociate with it. And we always talk about this on here, but it totally relates to dream work. Our brain has 3 jobs. It's to seek pleasure, reduce pain, and to be efficient. If it doesn't think it's getting pleasure out of something, if it thinks something is painful or something's not worth the time, you're going to notice thoughts that also align with that, and feelings that also align with that. Oh, it's not worth it today. We can skip it today. Oh, is it really doing anything anyways? These are not really your thoughts. They're thoughts that are kind of sent to you based on the way that we are perceiving something. And your subconscious is always going to be biased towards what you say and think and feel. It's always going to take your side. So when you say like, oh, I'm not really dreaming anyways, there's no point to, work with my dreams, you'll notice that your brain's like, yeah, you're right, and you'll just not really remembering any dreams. it could be literally with anything. Maybe it's even working out. You know, your brain can totally talk you out of something and talk you into something. And I think with everything, it's important to play the devil's advocate to our brain. What else could be true? Is this even a fact, or is this a story that I've created in my mind? And you'll see that a lot of the thoughts that we have are just loops of things that we have said before or thought before, or things that we have heard from people. And what I love about starting to do this work within the lucid dream is you see the truth in all of that. And you also get to experience the self from a different perspective. We're used to playing this specific role, but in the lucid dream, in the dream world in general, but lucid dreaming gives you a special advantage of being able to actually interact with specific aspects of your inner self to figure out why why we do some of the things that we do, or why it's difficult for us to move past something or heal something. I mean, there's so much that is kind of brought to light within the lucid dream. And so again, you can use this for anything: building confidence, working on your, I guess that aligns with self-image is what I was going to say. Maybe it's figuring out ways where you can increase your finances or bring one of your creative talents to light so you can start monetizing it. Whatever it is, I guarantee you there's some sort of work that you can do within the dream state around that. Whether it's actual activities within the dream that can kind of help you bring that reality to you, or whether it's getting questions, you know, or getting clarity by asking questions in the dream. There's so many ways that we can explore our inner self and what we're supposed to do and who we are. But we want to know what we're using the dream for first, because we want to have a goal going in. So I just wanted to cover bases and say, don't limit yourself on what you use the lucid dream state for, because some people will be like, oh, I would love to work on this, but there's no way that's possible within the dream, or I haven't seen people do that. Completely suspend all disbelief and just think about if there was one thing that could happen in your physical reality that would change your life for the better, or in a way that will help you be more you. What is that? Is it moving? Is it, again, finding that ideal friendship or partner? Is it working on your confidence, growing your business, even enhancing your creative ability? I've used the dream state to practice singing, yoga, painting, driving, especially driving. And again, this is something that athletes have used for a very long time if you look into it, because they know that the brain cannot tell the difference between something you're imagining, dreaming about, or something that's actually happening. And this is why so many people, before their sporting event or whatever, they will rehearse mentally making that shot or making that move or whatever it's relating to. And that's practice for the brain, because you're running yourself through that process. And so when you actually do it in waking life, it already feels like you've done it before. It's a little bit easier, you know, you have a little bit more edge to what you're doing. And I've definitely noticed that. And again, some people who are critical of this state think that you can just have one lucid dream and then all of a sudden you're healed, or now you're an expert at playing guitar or whatever it is. And of course, just like learning a skill in waking life, it's going to take practice and consistency. But the dream state has a very special way of showing you what's missing, or maybe a way where we're perceiving something in maybe not the most helpful way, which is causing us not to be able to learn or understand something as efficiently. It has this way to kind of show you what's on the other side of who you think you are when you're learning different things. And sometimes the dream is harsh with certain things. If there's something we need to heal from or something that we need to see, the dream's going to show it to us as well. That's what I love about taking like daytime work, like inner self personal work, and bringing that into the dream state as well, because we can have certain thoughts and feelings about things when we're awake, but the dream state has a special way of showing you a perspective that you didn't know was possible. So just know that whatever you're wanting to explore deeper in your life, if if there was something new and transformative that you could learn in any area of your life, what area would that be? We always want to go into the dream with kind of a curiosity and an openness to experience what is kind of being shown to us. But we also have to expect that anything can kind of show up, which, again, the dream state is also the shadow's territory. And Carl Jung talks about the shadow a lot, and it's basically the aspects of us that we deny, suppress, disown, hide from the world, emotion, things that are fueled with emotions like shame or guilt or anger. So things that we usually don't like to look at, we don't like to talk about, sometimes we don't like to acknowledge that they've happened. And so those things can come out as well within the dream state. But everything that's shown to you, I believe, is shown to you at the right time and for a specific reason. And this goes down to having that openness of just being willing to see what's trying to be shown to you within the dream. So one way to know if something like that's showing up is to notice the emotions that show up when you're dreaming. Because so often we'll be experiencing like excitement or adventure, but sometimes we'll be experiencing confusion, fear is a big one, helplessness. And so when you have a nightmare, I want you guys to ask yourself kind of what the theme is of your nightmares, like the emotion that you have within those dreams. For mine, usually when I have a nightmare, it's a feeling of helplessness. Like I'm either trapped or I'm confused or like I can't figure something out, but I know I have all the pieces. Like it's usually when it's a nightmare for me, it's some sort of like confused or helpless thing. Like I'm not able to help myself or to get out of a specific situation. And so if I want to look at how that relates to my shadow, I would ask myself, in what ways have I felt like that in waking life, in past experiences? And then I realize, okay, if I'm thinking on the word helplessness, because that's kind of like the main theme to what I consider nightmares, then that totally relates to my childhood, for sure. So now we have this different perspective on the nightmare of like, oh, we have to run away from this and like wake up as fast as possible, to, oh, there's a part of my younger self that needs me, that has something to still say. And so it helps us soften our perspective on nightmares or unpleasant dreams. And I think that when we're doing lucid dream work especially, and when we're talking about symbolism, we want to be able to openly accept both sides of whatever comes up. The positive symbolism that we always look for and want to hear, but also certain things that are clearly being shown to us, but we have a hard time looking at. Those are just as important, if not more important, than the positive symbolism, because the only way to work with your shadow is to work through it and with it, like actually with it. And if you've ever had a nightmare where you have ran away, you have tried to hide from something, if you ever become lucid or conscious in a nightmare, I want you to try just doing something differently than you usually do. Most of the time, we have a hard time looking at the nightmare and kind of accepting that it's there and coexisting with it. Usually we try to run away or escape or wake up. So the opposite of that would be to not even feel the need to like move or run away, just to exist and lovingly be there. And once you start to exercise that emotion in scary dreams, or what you'd consider scary dreams, you can start to exercise that emotion in scary situations in waking life, or when you have scary feelings that you don't understand. And so practicing coexisting with discomfort in your lucid dreams will directly help you be able to navigate working through it while awake. And so nightmares are truly the most healing form of dreams, because they really help us look at the deepest parts of ourselves that are ultimately the most transformative and have the most to teach us. But sometimes it's hard to walk ourselves through that process. And so it's almost like, dreaming in this way is kind of a form of inner therapy, because you know, it shows you those emotions as archetypes. Like, let's say you become lucid and there's this dream character that has this very specific emotion. You can go up to that dream character and ask them what aspect or part of yourself they represent, and a lot of the times they will tell you. Maybe they are your guilt or your inner child. I don't know another practice that allows you to talk to aspects of yourself, but also understand the personality of those archetypes. It's crazy when you see the personified version of your anxiety or your fear or your creativity and your inspiration. I mean, there's so many aspects of ourselves that we can explore while lucid. And now this practice gives us the ability to ask questions, to love, embrace, and accept these parts of ourselves, and actually physically hug these parts of ourselves. And you should definitely try that. It's incredible. But it also changes our relationship with those parts of ourselves. And if any of you took my masterclass, Dreams of the Shadow, we talked a lot about how to do this deep shadow work in the waking state, and then kind of how to explore that within our dreams. And the most transformative experiences I've ever had from dreams have been through nightmares, aside from my lucid dream where I was able to heal my physical pain and inflammation of my digestive tract. Obviously, that one was what got me to start talking about lucid dreams publicly and stuff. But now, when I recognize fear or helplessness or whatever it is within a dream, sometimes that's enough to get me lucid. Because after you are exploring your dream world and you're looking at the personality of your dreams and you're reading through your dream journal, you start to subconsciously recognize cues that you're dreaming next time you kind of dream of those things. For example, like I was talking about the other day, all of our dreams have an energy or emotion to them. A lot of mine are like, maybe are your guys's like this as well? It's like this very eerie kind of otherworldly, just off feeling within your dreams. And it's not a negative feeling. I actually really enjoy it because it's like really cool and interesting, and I don't know how to describe it. I dream so much through emotion and feeling, so it's kind of hard for me to like articulate. And that's how I live as well. I'm a very emotional person, not necessarily like crying all the time emotional, but just very like I feel so strongly, and I think that's kind of translated to my dreams. So it's hard for me to explain some of my dreams because I dream through feeling a lot of the time. But now when I feel that kind of like otherworldly weird feeling within my dreams, sometimes that's enough to get me lucid, and I don't need to do any reality checks. I don't need to do anything like that. And so that's another positive benefit of exploring the content within your dreams, whether it is after you've already woken up or whether it's while lucid. Hello, anime girl, how is it going? Yours is anxiety. Interesting. Lost and can't find my way back. Oh my gosh. That is a huge one for me, Skip. Oh my gosh. So often. My main dream sign is school. We've talked about this a lot. A dream sign is just a sign that you're dreaming, and some of our dream signs will reoccur. Mine is that I'm in school. Obviously, I'm graduated. I'm not in school, so that clearly is a sign that I'm dreaming. A lot of the times now when I dream that I'm in school, I like can't find my way to the classroom. I'm trying to take the bus home and I like get on the wrong bus and I get dropped off in some random location. I can't understand how to find my locker, or I keep wandering the school and going in loops. Maybe I'm doing some sort of art project in class and like I'm physically not able to like write or draw for some reason and I'm getting really frustrated. Those are kind of the themes to my school dreams for some reason when I have them lately. So I totally agree, Skip, with that, like being lost and can't find your way back. I think confusion, I guess, is a really big part of my dreams. Just feeling confused, and like I remember this one dream I had not too long ago. And I woke up or whatever. I remember waking up in my dream, obviously still asleep, but I thought I woke up. And I was like, oh, I just had this crazy dream. I'm gonna go write it down. I was still dreaming. And like, I would write and then like I would drop the pen. It would start. I just could not write. And it took me like, I swear, I was dreaming for like an hour in real time trying to just write in this dream journal and getting so frustrated that I couldn't figure out how to write for the life of me. And then I finally do get it down, you know. It looks like a 2-year-old wrote it. And then I like blink and it's all gibberish again. And so there's like this frustration or this confusion that I notice that happens in a lot of my dreams. So if any, and stress dreams look totally different to different people. So I'm interested to hear what you guys consider a stress dream. Like, what's a theme that you've had of like a stressful dream that kind of like it's the main type of emotion? We've seen anxiety, lost and can't find my way back. That's definitely one of mine. Mine's definitely related to that. Or just like needing help in some way. Like, yeah, being stranded or like missing my bus or whatever it is. There's always, not all my dreams, but the dreams that I have that I consider stressful, that's usually what happens. Let's see, whatever my dreams may entail, I rarely see myself as myself. I'm always seen as someone else, but then again, I'm a walk-in, so there's that. Interesting. You know what's weird? Not always, but I have dreamt of my high school self a lot. When I was in high school, I had tons of piercings, had long, black, straightened hair, wore skinny jeans and Converse or Vans every single day, had lots of dark, smoky eye makeup, and that was like who I was for a majority, like probably from like 8th grade to after I graduated high school. And I still dream of me as that version of myself a lot of times. And it's really interesting. I remember not too long ago, I had that same dream and I was like getting ready in my dream and I was like straightening my hair and I'm like, oh, I didn't know I decided to go back to this look. That's cool. Like, I didn't think that I was dreaming or anything. I was just shocked to see my high school self in the mirror and was like, oh, I didn't know I decided to. Cool. Didn't really question it. So it's interesting that I still dream of myself in that way. That's interesting. Oh, I'm the same with finding a college class where I missed it entirely. Exactly. Yeah, you're spending the whole damn time trying to find this class. I remember having to go back to the office a million times and like get the different schedule. Oh my god. The school dreams I have are so annoying. Rarely is it fun. I mean, I do dream a lot about being in like art class and stuff. I took a lot of art in school, ceramics, pottery, which were basically the same class, but I took 2 versions of that class. One was like actual sculpting and one was pottery. Then I had a drawing class and then a acrylic painting class. So for the first half of my day at school, I was doing art. So that's probably why now when I dream of school, I'm usually building something at my desk or something, which I honestly don't mind. Favorite class from school. That's all I really feel like I got from my experience was how to stand up for myself and how to start getting inspired by the world around me to create art. That's probably the main things. Let's see. I had a dream I was at school before 2 and I forgot my schedule and I was panicking. Yeah, and it's always like the first day or something. You know, you feel like, and I did have a hard time finding my locker in real life at school for like the first like 3 months. Like no matter what, like it just felt like a whole castle of a school. Like I could not find where I was going for the life of me. And I didn't start dreaming about that stuff until like after I graduated, so kind of weird. And now I'm going to be 27, and I'm still dreaming of it, so it's very interesting. My old home and not being able to get help or a school. Yeah, big enough where I get lost. Mystery novel type dreams where the characters are rushing me to blend in and participate in the storyline. Then once I do it, it just gets hyper animated and I have to solve the whatever before I awaken. Whoa! That sounds pretty cool. I love that. I love mystery. I love puzzles. Oh my god, I love puzzles. I love puzzles. So I would love dreams like that. I think that'd be super cool. I wish I could do like Legend of Zelda shrines in my dream. Like, you know, it's kind of the same setup, Eric, except I just had to like work my way through different shrine puzzles before I wake up. What happens if you don't do it? Do you just stay in the dream forever? Did you ask them? Like, what happens if I just choose not to solve this? Am I just gonna like be here for a while? See, and I would like, what's kind of cool is to challenge the dream. Start to challenge the narrative or the theme, or ask questions. Just see how the dream responds to you like shaking it up. Sometimes I will go with the theme, and other times I will play the devil's advocate and start to ask a lot of questions and just like start to gather my own intel about the experience, like I'm a detective in the dream world. But it's so weird how I don't know if you guys have had dreams like this, but I have dreams where the characters, I remember the characters, they remember me, and I come back and it's like I went away for a while. And it's like continuing. Like I have dream friendships in my dreams. And we've talked about places that we go back to time and time again. And I've talked to you guys about maybe we'll have to create our own little journal notebooks of like places that that show up in our dreams and some of their qualities and where they're located, because I have a set of dream places that I have dreamt of for years and years and years with characters that have been there and kind of grown with me in a way. I don't know if you guys experienced that, but that's one reason why the dream world is so, I don't know, fascinating, is because we see it as just like a figment of our imagination, or it's not solid, but like it's as solid as this reality, because just like the dream reality, just like we can break apart the dream reality and create a new one out of it, we can do that in the waking state as well. It's just the response time is a little different, right? Thank God. I mean, imagine if as soon as you thought of something, it appeared in your reality. We'd be a mess. Everything would be an absolute mess. So it's good that there's a delay to what we are creating in this reality, but I truly think that it's as solid as this one is. And when you ask people like, oh, well, what makes this reality real to you? It always really comes down to senses and memory and like, oh, I can interact with it in this way, but all of that is possible within the dream state as well. So that's where I get confused, is like, no one can really tell me what makes this reality real and what makes the lucid dream state not real. Maybe they're all real and it's like we're just existing in a multiverse where we can choose to exist in consciousness in different realities as we choose, and we can move between them. Maybe they all exist. Maybe all of these realities are like papers just stacked like a book, you know, it's layered on top of one another. What do you think? Sometimes I enjoy the lost feeling, like I float above it. Yeah, that's how I changed the dream, by challenging it. Yes! And a cool way to manifest within the dream state is to go up to a dream character and say something new that you guys didn't talk about, but pretend like you were continuing a conversation, like, hey, dude, were you still wanting to go to the beach? You said, you know, we'd be going in 5 minutes. They'll be like, oh yeah, I totally forgot, let's go, or something. They usually continue the storyline that you are creating when you're dreaming. Or like, hey, you said you were going to take me to my grandma's house, or whatever, wherever you want to go. And usually it's like you're acting, you're changing the story by creating it as you go along. That seems to work very well for me, even with communicating with the subconscious and stuff. So yeah, challenging the dream is really fun. And sometimes it's fun to go along with the dream, but I notice I lose lucidity if I do that, because I just start to blend in with the dream. And so I think it helps me stay conscious that I'm dreaming when I can kind of be creating a different thought process in my head. Like, usually I repeat to myself that I'm dreaming while I'm dreaming as I move around the dream, just to help myself remember, because in a split second you could forget that you're dreaming and completely lose lucidity. And so as I'm moving around the dream, I'm usually affirming to myself that I am dreaming, I am lucid, I am in a dream. Of course, as stabilizing, rubbing my hands as I also do that, walking around, that's usually how I move through the dream and stay like conscious. And then this helps things stay clear and helps you kind of be able to move around within the dream. And the reason why that works is just because you're interacting with your senses in the dream. And when you are interacting with your smell or your taste or your touch in the dream world, the brain thinks that that's a real experience, and so it puts more energy into that experience so you can feel and experience more, if that makes sense. But I did write down a couple things that I want to make sure that I touch on, because I have a habit of getting sidetracked and going on different rants, and it's, what can you say? I have a it's just like I can't control it. Okay. And so resetting. Now I'm going from ranting to reading. Okay. So anywhere in your dreams can contain symbolism. And some of my favorite examples of like where I look for symbolism is within dream characters. So notice the dream characters that show up in your dreams. What are they saying? How are they acting? What kind of emotional state are they in? Are they saying anything to you? Do they remind you of anyone in waking life? You want to start to really be aware of what is showing up, like what is presenting itself to you when you become lucid. So this is stuff that you don't have to go look for. So if you become lucid and there's any specific dream characters already there, pay attention to what they're wearing, what they're doing, what they're saying, just being observant. One of my favorite things is the weather. I feel like people kind of disregard the weather, or we don't really think about the weather that we dream in. But I want you to start thinking of that now. Do you notice a pattern to the weather in your dreams? And is there a connection to maybe the emotional state with the weather in your dreams? I dream a lot that it's either like super beautiful, like the golden hour, like right before sunset, where everything's like illuminated with this beautiful gold hue. Literally one of my favorite times of day. Or it's nighttime in my dreams. And usually nighttime is like good vibes in my dreams. It's either, sometimes I do have scary dreams, and I kind of like them. There's certain dreams that have that, like we're running away from something, or there's like some big plot that's kind of like scary and mysterious. I have a lot of fun, like paranormal dreams, for example. Some people would consider those nightmares, but I love weird dreams where we're in a house that's haunted, or like some sort of weird, I just like it. It's exciting. But most of the dreams that I have are usually take place at night for some reason. And I guess it makes sense because I'm a huge night owl. I'm really working on my schedule. Yeah, but it is a little bit difficult because I just get so much energy at nighttime. But that's maybe why I dream at night, or I dream of nighttime in my dreams, is because that's where I feel the most awake anyways. So maybe, do you guys get what I'm saying? Since dreams need energy to be created, maybe because I get most of my energy from nighttime, so does my subconscious. Hey Simon, what's up? Megan the Phoenix, usually I dream nighttime but clear sky, or at least not raining or wet. Interesting. I've gotten lucid when it's raining, and I love that feeling. It is so vivid and beautiful. Oh my god. How vivid and realistic it is when you're like fully lucid and conscious. It is so fun to like touch just like the bark on trees, or to look at like the raindrops falling on your hand. Oh my god, the beauty is in the littlest things. In waking life as well, but you can really see the symbolism of that within the lucid dream state. And I think that a lot of the lucid dream state is symbolism for waking life. And I talk about that all the time. But it's one of my biggest teachers, I think, for how I want to live while I'm awake. Thank you for the $5 Conspiracy Town, loving the show. I'm trying to figure out a way to demonstrate manifestation for people who don't believe me. So the thing is, and the cool thing is, who cares if they believe us, right? And also, we create our reality by how we respond to reality. And everyone has their own individual experience in reality where different things appear to be true based on the program that we've created for ourselves. So for example, manifestation or magic being real. We're told all growing up, you know, or there's a certain period where we believed in magic as a child, but then people make us feel like we're crazy, or it's too good to be true, or blah 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 blah. But what really happens is we go from being an open book, this open sponge, to now we're like swallowing other people's beliefs and experiences and other people's programs, and so it almost numbs our experience of the world. And so anything out of this program that we've been given, this kind of this basic canned program of society, anything that's outside of that is considered strange or not real or unusual or crazy or whatever. But that very belief system that we have is what allows us to see or not see things. And what's interesting is true reality happens all within consciousness first. We just experience kind of the result of what we create in consciousness. So for example, people don't believe in magic or manifestation, but they'll believe in bad luck and good luck and stuff. They're literally doing the same thing. That's still kind of like the exact same thing, because they're talking about energy or karma in ways. So when they say like, oh, spirituality or magic isn't real, but they believe they have bad luck, they're doing the exact same thing. And you'll notice the people that are dead set on believing they have bad luck continue to experience it, not because they are experiencing bad luck, but they have trained their brain to label things in a specific way where it appears to be bad luck. For example, like maybe I'm like watering one of my plants or whatever, and the plant falls out of the pot. I could not even think anything of it, right? And it just kind of could have happened, and it's no problem, you know, it doesn't do anything as far as affect me emotionally, and I just go about my day. Someone else could experience that exact same thing and be like, see, I told you the universe hates me and that I have bad luck no matter where I go. It's not that that thing was bad luck, it's that you've trained yourself to believe that things that fit that category do, and we're allowing our physical circumstance to change how we feel inside, when really how we feel inside is what is reflecting outside of us. So most people just have it flipped from what I believe. I believe it starts here first, it starts inside of us first, and what we allow ourselves to feel and to think and to be, that is projected outwards. Other people think we have to wait for circumstances in our life to tell us how to feel or tell us what to think. And I don't believe that to be true, because if that was true, then we would be a victim to our environment. We wouldn't have any control over who we think, what we say. And it also gives away our power, being like we don't control what we think, what we believe, what we feel, like we're given that information. That doesn't resonate with me either. And I notice that older periods of myself, like years and years ago, the things and the circumstances that I had definitely kind of aligned with not only how I saw the world, but kind of just how I reacted to it, because most of us aren't taught how to regulate our emotions, how to understand our emotion. Usually when we feel something that's really uncomfortable or feels unsafe or we don't want to sit in it, we just label it as like something that we need to avoid. When really, like, if we can learn not to fear any emotion in our body, we'll be able to accomplish so much more in our lives. Because what if you get used to feeling fear from doing something for the first time? Like, and you don't let that paralyze you, but you walk with it. You just acknowledge it's there. It's not bad juju or whatever to acknowledge that you feel fear or anxious. It's just people stop themselves from living because they feel that way. You can still do it. And a great example of this is like cold exposure therapy, ice baths, cold showers. Think of all of that stuff. So that stuff is difficult for a lot of people to do and to start because it is such an uncomfortable feeling to be cold. And why? Think about why it's uncomfortable. A lot of it is because of our mind. The things that our mind tells us when we are in that way. It creates resistance. Oh my God, this is too cold. I can't handle this. Am I going to freeze to death? Oh my God, I can't breathe. Our mind just goes when we're in states of discomfort. It could be anxiety. It could be whatever it is. If it's not an emotion that feels comfortable sitting in your body, there's going to be a lot of resistance and fight back with your mind. But it's about learning to not just take what the mind is saying and run with it, but it's about observing what's going on in here and being able to bring your mind back down by using the power of your body or your inner self. Like when you get into a cold plunge, for example, like you'll notice your body like tense up, your mind will start going, you'll have a hard time breathing, and you'll think that you will not be able to handle it for even a split second longer. But the moment you stop fighting the cold back, you don't feel the cold fighting you anymore. You're coexisting with it. And really, it's not a bad feeling to be cold. It's just a sensation. And all emotions are that. All emotions are sensations in the body. So when we start to change the perception that we have for the emotions we're feeling, we start to change our relationship with those emotions. And now we start to get a different result in those experiences that kind of created those emotions, whether it's fear, anxiety, discomfort. Seek discomfort and get comfortable with that discomfort so that no matter what you're feeling, you can walk with it anyways. And I feel like the reason why some people don't believe in certain things is because we try to either seek certain emotions or we try to avoid certain emotions. Emotions really do rule our lives. And it kind of creates what happens next as well, because the emotions that we feel, there's always a thought attached to it. And the thoughts that we're thinking are amplifying the emotions that we're feeling. And whatever we feel determines what we do or we don't do, right? And obviously our action or inaction controls the results that we get. So it all starts with our thinking and feeling. So this is where we want to build the most power. It's not necessarily that we have to start by feeling like we have to control our thoughts. Just get in the habit of observing them and not feeling like you need to emotionalize or interact with them. Like not too long ago, I went no contact with my mom, and I was going on a walk shortly after it happened, and I started noticing all of this like chaotic energy, like these thoughts that you could tell it was just from like the part of myself that was hurt, you know? And it's like our minds are going so fast even when we're not consciously observing it. Like it's so crazy, and that's how I know that we are not our thoughts. It is a reaction from the human of what we're experiencing, and we're just the observer. But where we go wrong is we think that we are our thoughts. We think that we are our thoughts, and if we are our thoughts, that means that it must be true. And then we start to panic and think that a story is fact. So that's why it's helpful to know that you are not the thoughts that you're thinking. You're the one observing those thoughts. And when I was walking, I just like, I don't know, I just decided to kind of listen to the thoughts, and it was so chaotic. They were out of, you know, like you could totally tell like that there was a lot happening energetically with me having to do that. Of course, it's nothing that none of us ever want to have to do that. And I had to sit and be like, interesting. It's so interesting that these are the thoughts that are going on when I'm not watching. They're still like, and that's why I continue to feel the way I do, is because there's this thought soundtrack that's looped that I don't even realize is looped, and it's causing me to feel this. So just know, if there's this feeling of anxiety or fear that you notice is present every single day, there is a thought loop or a soundtrack that is going on subconsciously that you don't even know about, that is like communicating something to your body, that is like, feelings can be paralyzing, right? And it's so hard to sit into some of them. But the only reason we sit in them is because we don't know how to work through them, and we don't know how to understand them. And so I just want you to know, I know that this was about like other people believing in magic or manifestation, but it's all about how you feel. I don't really have friends where I live right now because, number one, I don't go out and like search for them right now. There's really not a lot to do out here, and this place that I'm in is kind of catered to like getting what you need and going. There's like not a lot of places to like chill and hang out, and like not a lot of places to meet people, and there's not a lot of, I don't feel connected to the people I've met here, or the places around me. And so I'm kind of in my own zone. And so I really like immerse myself with and surround myself with everything that I believe to be true, because I've experienced evidence that what I believe continues to be true, and I can change that at any time, because again, your subconscious takes the feed that you give it, the information, the content that you give it, and with repetition of a certain thought, with a feeling, it kind of, you start to see it appear all around you. For example, like maybe you don't feel worthy. If you start telling yourself that you're way more worthy than you ever thought, you will start to see little pieces of evidence of that. And I think that that could work with anything. And I think that's the hardest part for people to believe, just is that consciousness is that mutable, and that reality really works that way, because it does sound too good to be true. And honestly, it's awesome that that we live in this universe that it's so hard for all of us to understand. And I think that's what makes it so fun and playful and creative. We'll always be safe, you know. I truly believe that we're always being guided or led somehow, and everything that we're supposed to become or experience or know will find its way to us somehow, as long as we dedicate to saying yes to what we know is for us, but even if it feels uncomfortable, and keeping your ultimate desire in mind. Because if you keep your ultimate desire in mind, that's going to subconsciously lead you to the opportunities or the things that you're supposed to take, and all you have to do is practice saying yes, even when it feels scary. That's at least what I do for myself, is I always try to stay emotionally connected to what means the most to me and to the person that I want to be. And then my only job is to welcome any opportunities or people or things that align with that as well. And I think that we just need to learn to have more fun in life and play with possibility. So even if the people in your life don't believe in magic, even if they don't believe in manifestation, I think the best thing is just, and I'm still learning this as well, but just to surrender to like what you can't control. And usually that is all about the ways that other people perceive us or perceive what we do. The only thing that we can really control is what we allow to be true for ourselves. And I've noticed that people come around when they're ready, you know, and it's really hard to accept that we can change our reality when life is hard, because it causes us to like have to look at ourselves too and be like, well, what am I doing that may be preventing me from moving forward? And that's really hard to do as well, right? And so I think that we're all just at different places in our journeys. They're all starting at different times, but I truly believe on a soul level that we will all be led to the places and the people and the things that we're supposed to be led at, as long as we can, again, practice just tapping into who we want to be, where we want to go, our desire, because it's very hard to experience a life created by your desires if you don't allow yourself to desire. People think like, oh, we shouldn't be allowed to dream big and to manifest. You should just be happy with what you have. That is like the dumbest thing ever. because we can still be happy and grateful for what we have, but desire to grow and evolve and change and also help other people around us as well. I think it's very stupid to not allow ourselves to dream big, farther than what other people have gone, because why would we want to stay in the boxes that other people have set? All of the biggest inventors and changers of the world didn't follow little boxes that people set for them. And a lot of the times they were rejected by society for years and years and years, but they continued and dedicated to their work because they believed in something that no one else touched yet. And we all have the same ability to this day, but the only thing is we can't let ourselves be brainwashed to believe other people's limitations or expect, like, that's why it is better to be the weird odd one out, because I believe that's where creatives are, artists, innovators. The world needs people that can think outside of the box, that can feel deeply, that can empathize with other people, and that can inspire other people to live and think differently. We need people like that. And so if other people are saying like, oh, what you believe is dumb or this or that, they're like showing you their belief system right then and there. And that's honestly none of your business. And it also doesn't affect the beauty and the magic that you get to experience. So at the end of the day, like, let them. There's this cool theory that I've talked about, and Mel Robbins didn't invent it, but I heard it from her, and it's called the let them theory. And it's just about releasing resistance to what you can't control. Let's say that your friend group wants to go out to dinner and they don't invite you. Let them. Maybe you have a family member who is not talking to you right now. Let them. Maybe, like, whatever it is that's happening around you, let it happen. You can still be okay and unchanged, and you don't have to let someone else's choices impact your quality of well-being. You know, it's beautiful to be able to coexist with chaos and still feel that inner peace and safety, because now you're not getting it from your environment. You're learning to create that on the inside. And I used to care, you know, when people thought that I was super weird or that I was too emotional, is something that was always said to me growing up. But all of these things that people told me, oh, I shouldn't be doing it, blah, 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 like, that ended up becoming my superpower, really. Because now, like, my entire life is led from my ability to feel deeply. If there's something I feel automatically that I shouldn't do or I should do, and I feel this strong feeling in my body, I usually go with that. Like, I just live in a way now where I'm welcoming feelings to kind of show up and lead me, even if they feel uncomfortable. And obviously it's hard to do, but once you decide to work with it, it's almost like, I don't know, the more we fight back, like, the more we complicate it in our head, the scarier it seems. But if you can just, and let me know if you guys have any questions about this, because I want to make sure that I answer any questions or touch on, like, because it's very, I'm a very chaotic person when I'm when I'm like really feeling like what we're talking about. But to me, this has made sense so far. So let me know if you guys have questions. But if you guys haven't read the Surrender Experiment, actually no, start with The Untethered Soul. That's his first book. And it's all about how our mind is like the biggest cause of our suffering, because it creates stories and illusions that aren't actually there. Maybe our friend isn't responding for 3 hours and we think that they're mad at us, and we start reviewing the last thing that we said, and we start to have a panic attack over what we said, and we start to have this like existential dread, like we've ruined our friendship. And then we find out like they were just getting their hair done or something. Like, I'm sure most of us have experienced something like that, even if it's like from a relationship from like high school or something. It was so dramatic back then, I feel like, with like relationships and stuff, and no one knew how to like be in a relationship, and everyone was just, it was just very dramatic, I feel like, in high school. And that's a good example of how we can create stories in our minds about what other people are thinking or feeling, and it totally causes us to suffer. And then we find out that that wasn't even real. You know, and so you can only go through that so many times where you start to just listen to the thoughts and not start to see them as truth, because this shows you that we can think things without it being true, and that whatever we're thinking can become a feeling in the body, and we can be robbed of our well-being, our time. And if you're anything like me, I grew up being like a complete overthinker. I had a ton of anxiety, and I can't tell you how many days straight I've probably spent overthinking things that I like didn't need to overthink at all. But it's so much more peaceful just to coexist with the things that you can't control, and it feels so freedom. It actually feels like you have more power when you start to do that. Because again, it's like the more we try to have control and power, the more out of control we feel. But if you just like completely let go of the grip and just worry about, it's kind of cool because it's a challenge of like, how can I be in this situation? How can I exercise my most like calm, chill, collected self? And then you start to like go about those situations consciously because you're trying to exercise this new part of yourself, and eventually it gets easier and easier and easier. Another thing is like with people being rude. This is something that I've dealt with a ton. Like all through school I was bullied, like literally all through school. And of course like I had my little friend group, but I like hated going to school all through school since I started like in preschool to graduating. Like it was really hard for me. And I think now it would be so different if I, was back in school with like what I've learned now. Because it wouldn't mean anything. The things that people said, like people don't know you. People have these perceptions or projections of who they think you are based on who they are and how they see themselves. And I let myself get so hurt from so many people. And now it's kind of interesting because now when I run into those situations or I have to cut off a friendship that isn't, healthy for both of us, it's almost like it's almost an invitation for me now, is how I see it. It's like an invitation to exercise like everything I've been learning and everything that I talk about, and maybe also just notice how that can completely change the result to a situation. Like there's been times where especially like in high school and stuff, and even years after high school, where I didn't know how to exercise my boundaries or say no. Maybe people wanted to hang out and I like really didn't want people over, or I really didn't want to hang out, but I didn't know how to say no, and so it becomes super, super complicated. We have to make up these stories or try to justify how, like if we just got comfortable with accepting how we feel and stating it honestly, there would literally be no problems. And if people didn't accept that boundary, clearly you can see that they're not someone you want in your life. It would make things so much easier. We'd be able to see so much more clearly if we were just like honest with how we felt and practice saying that in the most like compassionate way. But like before, I didn't know how to exercise those boundaries, and I would like be pushed to my limits until like I would just never talk to them again, and the whole friendship would end because I'd feel so overwhelmed, but I also wasn't speaking how I felt either. And so that becomes super complicated when we just start to be in our thinking more than our feeling. So I invite you, when you are in situations of discomfort, to step out of your thinking and into the body and notice what's happening. Because it's a whole other story that's going on. But yeah, I went from feeling like an attack, from other people doing that, to now it's an invitation to exercise the person that I have practiced being. Okay, okay. You said welcome back. I thought that the stream meant like, I was like, hello, are we still here? Okay. But I hope that makes sense. I know it was kind of a big rant about that, but I feel like it's really important for us to more so focus on what we believe and what we are allowing ourselves to feel, opposed to what other people believe. Because we can be like, maybe a situation that would have, like a friendship that would have otherwise been like completely destroyed, maybe it's able to end in kind of a peaceful and mutual way just because you can now come across in a much more clear way. When we can understand our emotions, we can articulate them more easily, and the more we understand our emotions, the more we can understand other people's emotions. When when someone says something and we can just tell that they're over, you know, it helps us have more compassion for other people as well. So I'd say that now it's not a rejection, it's a redirection to the people that you're supposed to be around. And same with opportunities, you know, that we run into. It's not a rejection, we're always being redirected to where we believe we're supposed to go. And again, some people don't believe that. But I think that my belief that I'm being redirected allows it to be so, and allows me to experience the result of that. So I truly believe it's in the labels and the beliefs you're allowing yourself to have in certain situations. You know, be mutable and playful and open with how you see things, and not so fixed and hard-headed about it, because in my experience it's self-sabotage. And I'm still working on all this every day, but I want to be open with like the stuff I've struggled with and still struggle with, because I know I'm not the only one, and it feels, you know, so much better to have a community of people who also go through what you're going through. Because one of the hardest things with our mind is it convinces us that we're the only one experiencing this, you know, that we're completely alone in the world, or that we're crazy. But you're just a human. There's literally nothing has gone wrong. You're a human, and that is a normal part of being a human and having a human brain. Congratulations. You are perfect the way you are. And the fact that you are feeling and thinking so many things shows your multi-dimensional nature, and how there's so many sides of you that deserve to be expressed. Thoughts are energy. Exactly. But aren't the thoughts a part of ourself? I believe that we coexist in this human body, but there's certain mechanics that are a part of the human body and the brain. And I believe that we are in a human body and we are using a human brain, but I don't believe that's who we are. And so we notice what comes up. But it doesn't mean that we are those thoughts. It's just the feedback that our ego, our conscious mind, is getting from this experience, and it's sending it back to us in information. And then based on the person we are, how we grew up, our programming, our beliefs, that's what determines how we interpret the information. So I would say we're more of the awareness of the thoughts itself, opposed to the actual thoughts. That makes sense. Eric says the thoughts are filtered through us from previous choices, the in-moment reactions and tendencies that we resonate with strongly. Okay. Oh, wait. Guido's World, thank you so much for the $50 for your moving fund for a couple of cups of coffee at Starbucks. Thank you so much, Guido's World, for the 50, and Conspiracy Town, another 10. Thank you so much for the support. I care because I'm trying to do it as a part of my own show. I want to show my audience that it is possible. I want to make it as dark and scientific as possible. Do it, dude. I love that. I love that. Definitely do it, and also let us know how we can support, you know. I would love that. Thank you guys so much for the support. You're the reason that I'm able to continue showing up and doing the work. I love hanging out with you guys, and I just really appreciate you guys being there. Raven, thank you so much for the 12, my friend. You're an amazing light, wise beyond your age. Thank you for a wonderful message of encouragement. I love your work. You're an amazing artist. God bless. Thank you so much, Raven. I love you guys so much. You are just the sweetest, most amazing people. I swear. Okay, let me see. Universe is mental, absolutely, and I turned on all notifications because I just now see you're online. Yes, something with YouTube, apparently, if you don't have the notifications on, apparently it doesn't show up on your, or you don't get notified of it. I'm not exactly sure on that, but that's what I've heard, so we'll have to experiment with that. Oh, and by the way, if you guys ever want information on this type of stuff, I watch a lot of, like, documentaries and stuff because, oh my god, I love to learn, but I love to learn in a way where I don't know. I have two very strong sides of myself. I love all of the science and the research, and I like to emotionally connect with the information. And so there's a lot of stuff on like Gaia TV that I watch. Dr. Joe Dispenza has a documentary, a documentary series, or it's not really a documentary because it's different episodes, but it's called Wired. And it's super, super good. There's also a series on there called Limitless, and it talks about all of the possibilities of the human mind and the human body, and people like breaking different records and the discoveries that we've had with consciousness and reality and how they interconnect. That one's super good. Mystery School. Teresa Bullard's Mystery School is super good. She's a quantum physicist, and so there's a lot of that work and how quantum physics and neuroscience connect. Automatic Brain is about the subconscious mind. So it's basically about how the subconscious mind controls like 95% of our life. And so it's kind of like a deep dive into the brain, and they run some experiments on perception and how magic even works, you know, how all these different things are at play on the subconscious mind. So, and Inner Worlds, Outer Worlds, it's basically a documentary series of, it goes through tons of different things with how, basically just the structure of our reality. Like one of the episodes is on the golden ratio and how everything in nature is like mathematically in sync with each other, and how mathematics accurately continue to reappear in all different forms of nature in the human body. So it's stuff like that that really gets my mind kind of curious and gets me really excited to explore the dream state, because I feel like the dream state connects to like the outer worlds, you know. I feel like the dream state is like a, it's like a, I don't know, it's like it's a, how my brain sees it is I'm in that area that Alice is in Alice in Wonderland, where she has to drink the potion to become small, to go through the little door that has this whole other world that she's never seen, that is as real as the other ones. Like, that's how I see lucid dreaming. It's like access to this world where like all of the deepest parts of you exist, all of your fears, your anxieties, your phobias, all of your inner creativity that you've never even experienced or seen before, all of your talents that you haven't even touched yet. Like, I like to think about it like this as well. What if when you're like 70, you discover like this insane talent that you have, that you like never knew that you had your entire life? Because I believe that we enter really important different eras in our life, depending, you know, at like different ages. And so your life doesn't stop at like 50, 60. Like, I feel like there's so much more that we can experience and discover about ourselves. Like, what if the dream state allows you to see parts of you that are going to completely be brought to life at ages that you didn't even expect? Like, there's so much to be explored and seen within the dream state, and it's just so fun to learn about ourselves and outside of ourselves as well. And maybe I like it a lot because it challenges my perception of who I think I am. And it was really hard at first to do that, especially when you get into inner work, or maybe if you've ever taken therapy or you got a life coach. You have to be willing to like face all of the shit you've been avoiding. And sometimes it's helpful to have someone to hold you accountable, to help you dive deeper into those places at first, you know? But then I love the dream state because it was like an extension of that. It was like I was able to still continue doing the work to discover parts of my shadow or parts of my personality that I don't get to see. And it's, I don't know, it's just a never-ending spiral of learning. And I definitely dedicate where I'm at in life to my dreams. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. I feel like I have let go so much within the past like couple years especially. And I just feel a lot more in control of my emotions. I feel a lot more present for myself. And I don't know, I feel like I can just think and feel more clearly. And now I've been able to work through a lot of that overthinking kind of anxiety that's always existed my whole life. It's like I'm finally reaching a spot where it doesn't completely determine how my days are gonna go, for example. And so, yeah, dreaming has given me so much, and I just want to, you know, invite you guys to explore it too, because even if it is, you know, I've heard some people say like they don't want to practice it because they're scared to go inside their mind. That hurts me so much because I know what they mean. but on the other side of that, it's like the biggest blessing that they could ever experience. Like, the thing that we avoid is usually the thing that changes us the most. Whether that's in waking life, whether that is within a dream. Some of my scariest dreams, you know, have been like, for example, me like running away or like about to get like unalived or something in my dream, you know. And then all of a sudden, like, if I can become lucid and change my approach to the dream, like change my energy to the dream, I've had dreams where I'm able to like actually hug the nightmare figure that's like chasing me. You turn around and they kind of stop too, because the only reason they're chasing you is because you're running. I've even asked before. I think I've talked to you guys about this. So there was one dream where I was being chased and I stopped and turned around and asked, why are you chasing me? And he said, I don't know, it's your dream. And it kind of made me laugh because it's true, you know. We're just doing something unconsciously in the dream without knowing why. So as soon as we bring consciousness into it, it's like the dream also changes its approach to us. And I think that's a really good philosophy for life. If we change our approach to what's happening in life, it will change its approach to us. It will turn from something happening to us, like running away in a nightmare, to something happening for us. And that's kind of where we can integrate the nightmare and change the energy present in it. So I remember there was this dream where I did hug the nightmare. It stopped chasing me and I asked it what it was doing. It said, I don't know, it's your dream. And then I did hug the nightmare and try to feel as much love as possible. And it felt resistant at first, this energy, but all of a sudden it softened and softened and softened until I was literally just hugging myself, which is pretty symbolic as well. The shadow literally dissolved and turned into like me, back to me. It was like all the shadow needed was to experience love and awareness for it to be kind of like transmuted and integrated. And after that, the dream started to shake, which is what happened in my healing dream with my stomach, which is how I knew that means like something happened in the dream, you know, something powerful. It started shaking, and then all of a sudden the dream turned into like a light, like it just, like the Big Bang, just like turned into this big burst of light. And then I ended up waking up, and I didn't have a dream like that again. It then changed to kind of confusion or feeling unorganized or feeling lost. So a lot of the dreams that we have, like the nightmares that we have, they're showing us, they're expressing to us how we feel in our waking life. And it could be an emotion that you're presently feeling lately. It could be something that you used to feel that you haven't necessarily solved or healed yet. And so when you feel a very strong emotion in your dreams, just ask yourself, where do I feel like this in my waking life? Where does this show up? And you will discover so much about yourself. I'm telling you, the way that you act in your dreams, the way that you feel in your dreams, the emotions that are present, the pace of the dream, it all is telling a story. Our only job is to look at what that image could represent. You know, it's kind of like a poem. You know, it's about taking out the symbolism and kind of seeing where it fits in with this story. And again, we can do that just by relating what's happening to how we felt in the past. So again, like a lot of my nightmares would be like feeling helpless, feeling confused, feeling lost. And those are the main things. And it was so mind-blowing to realize that. I was like, wow, that's actually how I used to feel all the time as a child. Because I also I wasn't around any adults for a lot of it. Like my big brother would babysit me a lot of the time, while my parents would, I don't know, they'd be gone with their friends all day and night sometimes. And he was one of the main people I was scared of. And so I remember just feeling like, yeah, so helpless or confused. Why, you know, just a whole thing. It's a whole thing. You guys know how childhood trauma is and stuff like that, so I don't want to like deep dive into that right now, but you guys totally know what I mean and like where I'm going with that. And I wouldn't have realized that connection, that I was still hurting in that way, if I didn't have the nightmare showing me that emotion. So the emotions you have in your dream are one of the main ways that I figure out what the dream is trying to tell me. And if it's a dream that is full of like total contentment and excitement. Like maybe that's how you want to feel. Maybe that's where you're trying to get to. There's always some sort of space and time that the dreams are connecting to. And again, like if you see it, oh, that's kind of interesting. I've never thought of it like this. See the dream scene kind of like an art piece. There's an intention to art, especially like landscapes and stuff in art. How things are painted and where, like, there's a reason a lot of the times. And so I think that it will help you to see your dream as an art piece, because it will help you dissect parts of your dream that you didn't even think was that important, and you'll realize things in the dream that you didn't even see before. Whether it's the location you were at, the people that you were around, maybe some of the numbers or the phrases or the things that were said. Some things come to life later, but you just want to get in the habit of changing your perception to take a bigger look at what's happening. Because it's easy to say like, oh, I was just at the park with my friends and then we did this and then that. Okay, there's a lot of detail missing. Let's go back a little bit. Where did the dream start? How did you feel when the dream started? Where were you when the dream started? Were you outside? Were you inside? What was the weather like? Do you remember what you were wearing? Did any other dream characters have strong emotion? Did you have any conflict in your dream? What was the theme of your dream? Were you looking for something? Were you on an adventure? Were you on a vacation? And so there's so many questions that we could ask ourselves that will help us kind of decipher what's going on in the dream. We kind of just want to get in the habit of thinking in that way, and the more you think in that way, you'll start to dream in that way. The more you look for detail, you'll start to dream of more detail. It's kind of like with your dream journal, right? The more you just practice writing down your dreams, the more dreams your subconscious gives you to write down, because it's just the act of you looking for that, expecting it, or intending to have more to write down. That's kind of what allows your subconscious to see that it's important to do that. So the moment you start to have a deeper desire for your dreams, or you start to look at your dreams a little bit more closely, the more profound your dreams will become, because your subconscious knows that you're listening, that you're involved, that it's really incredible how that works. Like as soon as you start making an effort to work with your dreams or to understand something, it shows itself to you so much more clearly. Even in waking life, let's say that you get offended really easily from what people say about you, which is totally, everyone deals with stuff like that, right? And especially if we've never worked on listening to that part of ourselves, of course it's going to be there. That's just part of being a human, right? But the more that now you've become aware of it, right? The first step is becoming aware, like, okay, this is something that happens to me. Once you make the intention to start working with it or to be more mindful of something, you'll notice it shows up more. And it's not that it shows up more, you're just more aware of it now. Same with the magic talk, right? You train yourself to believe in magic or manifestation. And it's not that it appears more. You've just trained yourself to see it more easily. So this is how everything works in life, including the opportunities that we get, circumstances. Once we kind of intend that we are now open to experiencing this thing, it starts to show up more and more and more. And again, this could even work with something you want to dream about. Just see this as like a base for like everything in life. If there's something you want to explore more, create more clarity on that thing and invite answers or opportunities around that thing. Even if you're trying to like find an opportunity for your art business or whatever, like do the same thing. Create clarity on what type of opportunity you're looking for. Or how you want to feel on the other side of that opportunity, whatever clarity you can create, and then open yourself up to looking for those possibilities, because they're already there, I promise you. But there's only so much that our brain can be aware of and send us, for feedback. Like, so make the intention to be more aware of whatever area you're wanting to explore more deeply, and just watch what happens. Your dreams will respond to you. So it all starts with your thinking and feeling. Absolutely. Carl Jung. Yeah, and if you want to learn more about Carl Jung, or the shadow. Carl Jung is a great place to start. I also do have a set of master classes that I did do. The shadow is one of those master classes. Pretty much through this series, I would walk you through the journey of dream work and how to explore dream work in many different ways, and how to involve personal development and dream work together. So maybe we're talking about the shadow, right? I would show you different ways where you can work on the shadow in the waking state, and how you can bring that work into the dream state to really get a well-rounded practice for whatever it is you're trying to work on. But that series is available either just by masterclass or like the full series. But I wanted to mention that because there's some talk of Carl Jung in the comments, and if you're wanting to work on the shadow, I definitely recommend his work. And then of course that masterclass that I created was also based on some of his teachings and my own that I've created. And that's something I invite you to do with this practice. Create your own techniques, create your own exercises. Like, there's no rules when it comes to this at all. And I invite you to do that also for your life. You can do things in a completely new way than you've never seen done before. And if you're getting a very strong idea and you feel it in your body, again, we want to go from our thinking to our feeling. Feeling our way through things has really helped me create a lot of clarity on what's for me, what's not for me, and just start listening to that softness, that feeling that you get in your physical body when you're presenting yourself with choices. For example, you'll be able to feel which choice feels better. Should I do this or should I do that? And sit with, if you did each thing, like, okay, let's say I took this option, and really allow yourself to sit in that. You will feel a difference very subtly, but the more that you start to operate through feeling opposed to thinking, you'll notice that feeling get stronger, and in return, your intuition will, you'll be able to feel things so much more easily, but your dreams will also be really different, because dreams are kind of ruled by our intuition and our creativity. You know, it's that very playful feeling part of ourself. And so the more that we learn to let that kind of be our compass in waking life, the easier it is to dive into deeper places when we're dreaming. But yes, The Feeling is the Secret is also a great book by Neville Goddard if you're wanting more information on that as well. I really need to do a book review thing, so I want to do that soon. And also I want to show you guys my plants. I wanted to do a little plant tour. So maybe I'll have to do that for either a live stream or an upcoming video. So yeah, maybe we'll have to do, oh, also painting. Maybe we can do some sort of live painting and just kind of chat about this type of stuff while if that would be entertaining for you guys, I'm not sure. This took me like 3 hours to paint, so I don't know if you guys would want to sit through something like that. But if not, I can always make like a time-lapse video and like talk over it or something. Usually my last dreams are outdoors. Interesting. Yeah, isn't it so weird how some of our dreams, like dream symbolism, connects, and then other times it's completely different. Okay. Just want to make sure people watch it. I know that I talked to you guys last week about my video exploring your dream world that's supposed to come out. I told you guys that I am trying not to edit some of my videos and just send them to my editor so I can just work on creating more, because I'm so used to doing everything on my own that now that I'm working with someone that can help a little bit with my shorts and all of that, like I'm just trying to pass off some things, so because sometimes it takes me so long to edit a video. I'll be up all night trying to edit a video, and I think if I'm already in that creative flow, like I want to just keep creating. So that video is done. I just need to put my background music on it and export it, so I promise you it's coming. But yeah, I have a lot of content that I want to create that is kind of involving my art, because I figure if I'm going to be doing art anyways and you guys want to see it, maybe I should just stream it and we can chat. But the thing is, number one, I will be honest, I feel a little self-conscious about my painting. on live, because I feel like sometimes I get in my head about it when people are watching, and I don't know, I'll have, maybe that's something I can practice. So it's not that I don't want to do it, I just don't want it to be boring and, you know, take forever. But if that's something you guys want to be a part of, I mean, you know, kind of goes with everything we're talking about, right? It's the full journey. The ups and downs, we'll find our way. Oh, Guido's word, love that, love that. Do you have your YouTube channel up already? If so, let us go subscribe. And that's something that I want to do again. I did a YouTube masterclass like 2 years ago. And me and my business partner, he's the one that helps me with my second channel, we wanted to create some sort of thing we wanted to kind of team up on a course or a class. I basically show you guys how to create and run a YouTube channel, and then he would show you guys how to make your own music. Eventually we want to do that. But there's, again, there's so many ideas I have, and I organize them, and then I feel like I get like 400 more in like an hour, and I'm working on flowing wildly with where my mind wants to go, but also having some sort of structure. So just know there's probably a whole lifetime of stuff that I have that I'll always be working on in some capacity. But yes, that exploring your dream world video will be coming out. Should be this week. I'm working on it right after this this live. Awesome! Yeah, let us know once you've created it. Well, I love you guys so much, and I so appreciate you hanging out with me. Let me just review. Okay, I just want to review right before we leave. Just so exploring your dream symbolism while lucid. We talked about anywhere in your dreams containing symbolism. Some examples are dream characters, the weather, what people are wearing, physical signs or billboards, a theme or situation in the dream, a random knowing in the dream, or emotions that show up in the dream. Those are some ways that your symbolism can speak to you. And then some quick ways to interact with your dream symbolism. You can review them in your dream journal while awake and ask what mental and emotional associations with the images or symbols showed up. So you basically dissect your different symbols that showed up within your dreams and ask how you relate to them, how they connect to anything that you believe or that you've seen, just basically seeing what shows up as soon as you kind of pay attention to those symbols. Another way, which we talked about, is asking questions within the dream, either to specific parts of the dream or to the overall dream. So this is asking dream characters what they represent, finding unique creative questions to ask out loud to the sky, and sometimes the dream will completely change to answer your question. Sometimes you'll hear a voice literally in the sky answering your question. And then the last thing I have for it is finding a way to creatively express your dream entry in an artistic way, perhaps through painting, drawing, a song, a poem. This encourages us to shift our perspective about the dream we had in order to interpret it and express it artistically. So let's say you had a dream that you're trying to decode the symbolism to. If you were to paint that dream, or you were to write a poem about that dream or something, it would probably clear up a lot of the mystery around what the symbolism is, because it's causing you to change your perception to be able to express that dream in a new creative way. So that's something I like to do. I like to paint my dreams sometimes. But yeah, finding a creative way to express your dreams in a new way outside of just a dream journal entry is another cool way to work with your dreams. The main things with dream journaling or dream work, if you're just wanting to get started, is to practice using your dream journal every day, practice setting an intention before bed of what you want to dream about, and then just getting in the habit of looking at your dream content, the content that you're dreaming about, the things that continue to show up over and over in your dreams, and eventually that will create enough awareness where you will notice it while dreaming, which will allow you to become conscious and kind of experience a lucid dream. And again, I have playlists on all of this if you're a beginner, if you just want to learn about dream journaling, sleep paralysis, dream control. I have tons of videos on all of that. And I did just create a playlist not too long ago called DreamWorks Bare Essentials, which is like the bare essentials of what I would start with if you're looking to begin dream work. And then I do have some playlists on more advanced stuff as far as like out-of-body experience induction and stuff like that. And then again, if there's anybody new here, I do have a second channel called the Lucid Mystic Sleep Music, where I create nightly binaural beats, lucid dreaming, and out-of-body experience sleep music. I also listen to it every night, and I've been having some incredible tracks come out. You guys should check out the one tonight. The one tonight is one of my favorites that I've released in a while. It just has this, oh my god, I don't know, there's just this ambience to it that is just really dreamy and nice. But yeah, if you are looking for that kind of nightly content, then yeah, make sure to check it out. But I love you guys so much. And again, if you are wanting to stay connected, make sure to join the Telegram group. Thank you, Eric. Let's see. Google Docs list of recommended shows, movies, books to review in anticipation / cooperation in the book club. Yes, start it up, Eric. Start it up. Cause let's get that going. Let's get that going. Because also I've been wanting there's so much, you can start it. There's so much to talk about when it comes to that. And it would be nice to be able to track some of that. So yeah, start that up, Eric. Share it with me if you would like, and we will get that going. And thank you for posting that Linktree link. For anyone who is looking for resources, or you would like to join the Telegram group chat, there is the link that should have most of my resources on there. Thank you, I needed this before the full moon in Aquarius. Of course! I'll have to, when is the full moon? I'll have to check, but I miss doing little full moon lives like we used to. Maybe we'll have to bring one of them back. Oh, that's cool, Guido's World. That is way cool. Time for tea. Good night all. Ooh, that sounds great. I'm gonna go make me some blueberry lavender tea. I just got it the other day and I'm hooked. Yes, I have like 8 cups a day. It's fine. Okay, tomorrow. Oh my gosh. August 1st. Oh yeah, there's a full moon August 1st. Okay, cool. Well, maybe I'll have to try to plan something. Maybe. I am sometimes so unorganized with work because I have so many different things that I'm working on. But I'm gonna write that down because if I can, I would love to go live tomorrow with you guys. No guarantees. I'm sorry. My things get crazy for me, but I will always update you guys in the Telegram chat with what's going on or if I go live. Okay. Okay, I love you guys so much. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I will see you next Monday. Probably at 6 p.m. We've been doing a little bit later, but of course I'll update you on the exact times in the chat. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining. And as always, I'm sending you endless love and endless lucidity. See you guys. Bye. And thank you guys again, everyone, for supporting the channel. I love you so much. Thank you for everyone who's donated, for who showed up. I love you guys so much.